Ranked solo queue looks like. And we've got Logic, we have Kid Red Fox, Senor, and P. Kent on the side of Milligan. As for the bans starting things off, these are some pretty standard bans against St. Clair, getting rid of Frez's Camille, getting rid of Yule's Syndra, and Yone. Nice and quick. Meanwhile, St. Clair going to be getting rid of the Graves, the Nautilus, and the Ornn as the picks finally start going underway. So Volibear is going to be played by Frez this time. I think we may have seen it once during either an early match or a preseason game. So it'll be the first time I've seen it in a little while. Yule finally gets his twist of fate. And Nidalee, or Trick is going to be on Nidalee. So that'll be a little bit different. On the side of Milligan, we've got I Need Mental Help on the Maokai. The Lilia got taken by Logic, so left open, but Trick wasn't going to be able to get a hold of it. And then Red Fox on the Tristana, mid lane Trist, up against the TF. That could be a bit of a rough time here for Yule. We'll have to see as that continues forward. Then Orianna and Zoe were the other bans towards mid lane, and then some support bans coming out from St. Clair, as well as Leona, Morgana, and Nautilus, all supports getting taken off the field. Sonora is going to be playing some Ezreal. Lazzy is going to be playing some Kalista, and we've seen Mianzfu's Pantheon with that Kalista be absolutely devastating. Expect some early game pressure there, and P. Kent is going to try and hold the fort there in the bot lane with Senor on that Braum. Now, I hate to do this, but I do have to be 1 second before we do hop into the match. Okay, dearest apologies about that, everybody. But let's take a look at the compositions at hand here. So, .280 carries on the side of Milligan University is going to make things a little bit difficult for St. Clair the longer this game goes. Meanwhile, on the side of St. Clair, it's going to be more of a pick composition. We've seen Twisted Fate come out a good handful of times so far in this tournament, and overall, it's been against St. Clair. And Yule and the rest of St. Clair have been able to shut that Twisted Fate down. to the point where they haven't really been that effective. With Kid Red Fox in the mid lane there, going to be now trying to shut down Yule this time by. We'll have to see what happens. But I do feel like the later this game goes on, St. Clair is going to have a harder and harder time. We'll just have to see if they can make that Pantheon Ballista lane pop off. How will Frez be as we move forward in this game as well? And if Trick can make the impact necessary. Do apologize for sounding completely out of breath. You ever order a pizza and it comes right at the worst time? And then at the very top of an apartment, so I'm running up steps. I'm sure some of you can relate. I'm struggling a little bit here to catch my breath. I do apologize. Obviously, it's not a standard thing that happens here on stream, but we're about to get ready to hop into the game. Nicely, quickly loaded in. And all right, yeah, here we go.
Vengeance is at hand.
All right, that's better. Game on now. St. Clair versus Milligan University. Once again, sorry about the awkward little introduction starting things off here, but we are now in the game action, just about to get underway. And St. Clair opting for a little bit of aggression early, maybe just a ward, maybe they'll accidentally face check a bush of 5. We'll have to see. Frez was getting awfully close there for a second, but backs out at the right time. Apparently the top lane taunt bush is a thing. Logic going to be starting towards the red side more than likely. Same thing with the St. Clair side. Everybody goes back. Frez is still in a position to possibly look for something aggressive. Maybe just trying to peek out where the jungler is. Might have spotted Logic in the process before he starts moving up towards his lane. As for lanes to look out for, so of course, I feel like it's going to be a lot reliant on how much they can get Lassie snowballing here. We've seen time and time again that like he tends to find himself in good positions to get like plenty of eliminations in the game, and sometimes or sometimes not able to carry from there. I know during the matches on Wednesday versus the University of Toronto, Lassie had himself a good couple of games, but unfortunately they didn't end in the endgame W. As we see Red Fox getting extremely aggressive onto Yule. Still trying to answer back with a little bit of damage, but once that bomb goes off, that's going to be a net negative for him. Frez, once again, up against the Maokai, but this time up against the Grandmaster Maokai, and he just completely solo killed him up in the top lane. I need mental help. Putting Milligan University on the board nice and fast here in this matchup. Now Frez has teleported back, but this time Logic is there to answer him, and Frez still has a flash. There's engagements happening on two sides of the map here, as Frez is going to be able to flash away and keep himself alive. Meanwhile, down bot, Lassie and Mansfo were able to chunk Senor and Kent down to about half HP or so for each. But overall safe, no flashes burned. Of course, Ezreal, extremely safe AD carry, has that arcane shift whenever he does have it off of cooldown, essentially a flash in itself. But a brief little bit of excitement. Now back down to laning. Yule keeping up with Kid Red Fox for the time being. Frez is a level down, so this is something he's got to be extremely careful about. Now that the mana is getting low here on I Need Mental Health, he opts to go in, but it does not seem to matter, as it looks like Frez is going to go down again 1v1 after a poorly chosen aggression. And then, of course, this is not exactly the kind of start you want to see here for St. Clair, as logic is absolutely everywhere. Now, here with Trick, actually, right on to Red Fox, a little bit of a 2v2 duel. Logic still trying to get aggressive, but may have been ill-advised, forced to flash aside. So other than top lane, St. Clair not looking too bad. However, Frez is definitely going to be having his work cut out for him. I Need Mental Help really giving him a hard time. Showing off some of those Grandmaster skills. Now in the jungle, Trick caught out. Bomb on his head, is going to heal himself last second. Yul's going to come in with the stun card, so make sure that no one else can advance. Trick going to barely make out of there alive. A bit of an over-aggressive push onto the Raptors. Nearly cost him his life on that one. Lousy basically out of mana at this point, so he's probably going to have to go back very shortly. Has been pretty well keeping even here with Sinnoh. Opt for another wave or so. Frez back to base already. Picking up some additional items. Trying to figure out what he wants to do to get something done here against this Maokai. Trick moving up top as well, maybe looking to come help, but with Maokai being up 2-0, and he's basically built into defensive items, so he is going to be a beefy tree. And that is going to be extremely hard to deal with. May not be doing necessarily the most damage per se, but you're not going to be able to kill him. Dragon now on the board, and it looks like Milligan are opting to go for it. Nobody else on the side of St. Clair there to contest. The bot lane had backed, so nobody down there is going to know any wiser. Red Fox down from mid lane. We do see actually Mensfus and Trick starting to move forward, but they are too little too late for that one. They're going to be sent back to the lanes packing as Milligan takes that Dragon uncontested. And now the bot lane's going to come back with some items. We do have Lassie picking up the Berserker Greaves nice and quick. Some additional attack speed, always good. More spears for the Kalista means more damage from your Rend. Whether that's versus another player or versus something like a dragon. Basically a gigantic execute. And then I need mental help on the Maokai. Already has his ult available. Logic was nearby, but he's a little bit too low to try and make a gank happen. So he's just going to continue to make Frez's life an absolute hell up there. I mean, Frez is starting to catch up a little bit on CS, but I know early that was rough. Meanwhile, this could be a little bit messy for Kent as he's going to get jumped on. Frez is also getting jumped on from any mental help down up in the, or rather in the top lane. Trick is here as well, looking for a cheeky spear, maybe to get the finishing blow. But Kent is too tanky, and that spear did not actually make contact. So Trick is not going to be able to finish that one off this time by. And yeah, this is just an unstoppable tree right here for Milligan's I Need Mental Help. If it was for a little extra chunk of health, they very well could have tried to get the kill, but we do see Destiny coming out here from Mule. They're going to chase down the Braum. Can they finish it off? Lassie's going to be able to rend and pull them aside. However, some reinforcements have arrived, as here comes the Maokai ultimate from I Need Mental Help, and that is going to be some gigantic damage coming down from Sinnoh. Mansfo has found Red Fox as well. Lassie's going to get taken down. It's going to be a double for Sinnoh. All this time they were pushing for one kill, one tower dive. Meanwhile, Milligan University just answered big with 3 of their own. A small consolation prize here for St. Clair is the fact that Frez has been left to his lonesome up there. He did not have his teleport available for that fight, which is why we did not see him there. But he's going to be able to at least push on that top turret, try to get himself some plates to try and make up for the lost farming time that the Maokai put onto him. Yeah, 2 kills, 2 assists now on Tiny Mental Help. 2 kills also on to Senor, and we can see when the opportunity arises, he can absolutely burst Lassie for free. Didn't even get his entire combo, but still chunked Lassie to about half HP. So that's the only problem about Callista there for Lassie is, yes, you want to build your attack speed so you get more rend, more spears in for your rend, but that means each of your individual shots are not exactly that powerful. So when it comes to a quick trade like that, Senor is going to capitalize big time. Meanwhile, over a long, drawn-out fight, it'll be much better for Lassie, much better for that Callista. But it depends if those situations become available. Blue card coming out here from Yule. Going to try and trade out some damage about halfway through. Trick is here, but so is Logic. And that is going to be a Sleepy Cougar going to be met with the gigantic slam from Logic. However, they've been trading this out pretty evenly. That is Miesfo who's up there as well. Gold card going to slam down onto Red Fox. Teleport coming out. This is going to be Frez joining the fight. Yule hanging on for dear life. Minions attacking. That is going to be Frez finally getting himself on the board here, getting a kill onto Red Fox. And there's going to be another one. Trick hanging on for dear life. That stopwatch could not have come at a better time. Going to get the shutdown gold from I Need Mental Help onto Yule. So a very good best case scenario there for St. Clair. Able to get some gold in the right places. Frez got his jump start that he was probably looking for. Yule had a quiet game overall so far. Got to get himself on the board with some kills and assists. Shelly going to come give us some additional golds via some tower plates. And oh my goodness, that worked out. Logic put himself between a rock and a hard place. A charging Shelly and a Nidalee Spear, adding one more on top for St. Clair. This was a 1-5 games in regard to kills earlier. And that last minute or so not only got St. Clair caught up in regards to kills, but have actually got themselves the lead everywhere exception of this top lane individually. Frez is definitely going to be picked on a little bit. Has a shield now. He's going to try and turn this around. Destiny being popped. Twisted Fate. That's going to be Yule coming in with the gold card. Gets the stun up. Do they have enough damage to take him down? That's a pretty beefy tree. Frez taking some tower shots. Hanging on for dear life. Yule, one more card. Going to find the kill. And now whatever lead that I Need Mental Help may have had over this top lane is going to be gone. True Shot Barrage coming from downtown. Will it find its mark? It's not going to. Frez would have been wide open. But now that that ultimate has been blown, that is the go button for St. Clair to move forward. The ult coming out there from Lassie, right on target. Piquant nearly getting out with his life, but Trick is going to come on in, pounce on him, give him the execute. And then this dragon is still happening. There's action all over the map here. We're going to have a smite fight, and it's going to go to St. Clair. Gigantic turnarounds over these last 2 minutes. You still have to watch out for the Senor, who's going to take the kill onto Mansfield. But that was about 2 kills in a dragon for 1 in the benefit of St. Clair. A crazy last minute. And they might be able to get this last turret, but no, not quite. I mean, gotta watch out. I Need Mental Help still has some decent damage to him, especially if these little saplings can make their mark. And nicely done. He's actually going to use the ulti as well to keep him rooted into place. I don't think there's anything Yule can do about this. He is going to get shut down. And he got them shut down gold from I Need Mental Help. Now I Need Mental Help gets some shut down gold back. Okay, now we're going to have another wet noodle fight up here in the top lane. Frez returns, tries to get some damage onto the Maokai, but just going to trade and walk away. Let's take a look at some items real quick. The Tristanus, that's Kid Red Fox, still a little bit slow on items. Has the BF sword, so it's doing some okay damage, but nothing fully built up, ready to go. Yule's Twisted Fate has that Rod of Ages starting to stack, and it looks like he's opting for Azanya's sometime soon. as he has some of the pieces available, including the stopwatch if necessary. Lazzie's Callista building, looking like Blade of the Ruined King. Looks like it's just around the corner. And then Senor on the Ezreal for Milligan University has that man immune, is starting to build it up. Those are the only huge things that I can see anyway. Frez face-checking Logic is actually going to get the jump onto him. Going to try and maybe burst him down himself. He is relatively tanky, but is going to be put asleep. Logic going to get out of dodge, but he's not ready for Mansfu, who's going to get the jump on him and take him down as that mid-turret falls as well. It just feels like this game is taking a complete 180 in regards to its volatility, as it looked pretty dominant to start off with for I Need Mental Help up in the top lane, but everywhere else, St. Clair was going even. And then these last few minutes, St. Clair has just did a massive push towards extending this lead, getting this lead, and it's quite brutal. We can see the Maokai still quite devastating, and that is going to be a Destiny, but that's down on the bottom lane. That Senor gets jumped on. Arcane Shift already blown. Flash is not yet available. Can Yule finish him off? It's going to actually go to the Mansfu to dive in. Yule's going to find himself the kill. They look for one more. Not quite going to happen. I Need Mental Health underneath the turret, trying to secure this kill. He's eating a lot of shots. Can it be traded? It is not. Another solo kill for the Maokai up top. This fight very well may not be over yet either. Yule gets a gold card on the kid Red Fox. Red Fox gets aggressive and blows away Mansfu. He's going to pick up one. Trick is here for reinforcements. He's going to chase after Red Fox. Does manage to take him down. Logic is here as well. Lassie looking for the execute and is in fact going to find it. So extremely scrappy last couple minutes here between these two teams as we're just passing the 15-minute mark. There are turrets falling across the board here on the side of Milligan University. And St. Clair looking good to maybe take one more Herald and then start pushing a different lane. Mansfu already over by the Herald, probably looking to start building some vision around that area so they can take this Herald safely. In the meantime, Maokai was not up on top lane, so Frez was able to take that turret down, and we now have ourselves a pause. Not 100% sure what's going on there as we cannot see the chat, but what I guess we can talk about for now is the gold lead, the significant gold lead St. Clair is currently holding over Milligan University. Whereas both these teams are definitely even matched. However, are the lanes even? It definitely doesn't seem to be the case. Because for the most part, like looking at the St. Clair stat line, there is Trick, Yule, and Lassie all with 3 eliminations apiece. They have Zhonya's ready to go for a little bit of extra defense as well. Mansfu found that one elimination onto Logic earlier and has been trying his best to get involved with as many kills as possible. Frez started off rough. He was extremely behind in CS. However, some of the roaming attempts from I Need Mental Help gave Frez the opportunity to get back into this game, farm up, and even get himself on the board with some assists. It's going to be pretty heavily reliant, I feel, on Senor's Ezreal and I Need Mental Help's Maokai if Milligan are going to turn this game around. Those two still having solid, if not fantastic games so far. Logic, Red Fox are struggling, and Bekent is doing what he can, but there's only so much you can do from the support role with a Braum. It's not like he brings that much damage. He is an absolute utility bodyguard. Herald now being pressured by St. Clair. The dragon should be just arriving right now. There it is. Another blue ocean drake. That little cry signifies that the Herald has been secured for St. Clair. And now they're going to be able to make it back here just in time for a dragon fight. Lassie find them from above with Trick, but they're going to have themselves a bit of a split engage. Pecan with a Glacial Fissure going to try and stop this push. But this is weird. The team that's near the dragon does not have the smite right now. I don't think they can really do much damage onto it anymore without risking losing it. Mansfo goes down. Frez is going to answer back with a kill onto the support. As Braum goes down, Yule's going to find Logic. A really rough spot here where Lassie's not actually a part of this fight because I Need Mental Help is just constantly keeping these two at bay, nearly taking them out himself. Yule's going to find one more, going to take down Red Fox. Sinor is the only one left here. There is no smite available. They're going to try and turn this. Can Sinor make a snipe on the dragon? He's not going to be able to do so. It's going to be secured by Yule, actually. Trick did not have his smite on cooldown, but a very extended fight with a very extended ace here for St. Clair, getting a kill onto everybody on the side of Milligan. Very scrappy fight. I liked what St. Clair was going for. They had Milligan pinched in that corner. Whichever way they go, they were running into St. Clair members. However, I like the decision from Milligan to then just focus down one of those sides. But with Peken's using the Glacial Fissure onto the opposite end, maybe if he was in position to snag that towards the other side where everybody was jumping in, that might have been enough to swing that fight. And then I Need Mental Help was a little bit not out of position, but he was kiting so far away that the rest of his team could not really follow up on it. Logic running for the hills as he nearly gets bursted down. A very, very squishy Lilia at this point here in this game. Trick invading the jungle, making it his own, currently a level up on the Milligan jungler. Answer stuns Sinor and is able to do like half health in one combo himself, and he's the support, let alone the rest of his team. Yule getting harassed here by the Maokai. We do see Mansfo come in for reinforcements, using the ult just to get rotated in the proper position. But there's nobody here that can really heal up the Maokai except himself, so he's going to have to take a few moments, keep himself topped off and ready to go. Some of these stat lines for St. Clair are starting to look a little bit scary, though. 4-1 onto Trick, 6-1 onto Yule. He's really making that Twisted Fate his comfort pick that we saw in the pregame. He was able to finally get this champion in a composition that actually supports it, and has been absolutely tearing through Milligan so far in this game. With the only person he can't really burst being this Maokai right here, still does some decent damage to him. He's damn well going to try. So we see him lobbying in some auto attacks, of course, in between his abilities to make that Lich Bane work for him. And he's nearly got him. He flashes right into another member of St. Clair. He's going to pop the ulti just to try and survive, but Yule's still going to finish him off. And taking down the big tank like that all by herself is definitely a rough time. And Frez was actually the one with the Herald. Normally you expect Trick or the jungler to take care of that. So instead, he's going to be able to split push with this turret. And it's going to actually try to the solo kill onto Red Fox. Was extremely close from doing so. But as he runs out of abilities, Red Fox is going to be able to pursue him away for the moment as Frez awaits some more minions. As Frez waits for minions, going to be taking the blue buff on the side of Milligan as well. Passes that over to Yule. There's going to be cards for days in this next siege. St. Clair looking to maybe siege up that mid turret or come on down bot here. As Frez does not have much mana, but he's going to be able to put the stun on. And as you can see, one shot from those cards, basically chunking out about a quarter of Kid Red Fox's health. This tower is probably not long for this world. It is going to go down as the rest of Milligan rotating to possibly start a fight. Lazi is nowhere near this right now, and neither is Frez. His teleport is nearby if he hangs on for a couple more moments. But St. Clair going to opt to back out, maybe go back and get some items, as Dragon will be on the board very shortly to contest They have 2 dragons for themselves as of right now. Milligan with the 1, looking to try and tie this up if possible. And make sure that St. Clair doesn't get closer and closer to 4, because of course that Dragon Soul will become a thing as this game goes on. St. Clair cleaning up the vision all around this river. I don't see a red ward in sight. The closest one is like that tri-bush area, and even St. Clair knows about that one. As Dragon is now on the table. Frez is nowhere nearby, but he does have teleport if need be. Going to be pushing forward, going to try and knock St. Clair off the Dragon. It didn't look like they started it yet, so they're okay. Yule going to eat a snowball, but is going to then get jumped on. I need mental help. Hits the go button. That Zanyas is actually going to put Yule in a really rough spot, but he's going to get some decent value out of this red card. Mansfo gets blown up, but it's going to be at the cost of 2 for Milligan. Picant is going to be going down. Sonor's trying to kite as best he can, but he cannot stop the bear. And Yule from behind with the gold card to finish that off. The teleport attempt's coming out here from I need mental help, and is going to get out just in the nick of time. And now they should be able to turn their eyes onto this dragon. Yule was down to like 5% HP, so he's going to get some fruit, start pushing a lane, and see if they can actually take a little bit more after a very successful team fight. Mansfo was the only one who went down, but to take him out, it took pretty much the entirety of the Milligan University squad, as only I Need Mental Help survives that fight. They're actually going to turn this over to a Baron. Yule gets it started pretty quickly, and they are chunking this rather quickly. And Smite is available for Trick. That's going to be a True Shot Barrage coming through multiple members of the St. Clair team. Picant sees it, Logic sees it, and it's going to go over to Trick. A Baroned up St. Clair. Do they take another fight or do they back off here? It looks like they're trying to get out of dodge, which would definitely be wise. I'm sure they have a bunch of gold available for them. Yeah, they just let majority of the team go back, and then actually Yule blows his teleport rather aggressively to try and maybe snag himself another kill, but there was no team fight, no pushing happening on the side of Milligan. So rather recklessly using some of these abilities. So of course, that teleport has a long cooldown. And Yule, and once again, this is pretty much deja vu from the last fight. He's going to be blowing his flash. It's going to be the Malkael coming out from I Need Mental Help, but he's down to half HP already. Mansfo nearly going down, but it's going to be a huge ult from Lassie to pull him aside and keep him safe. Picant is getting extremely low. Red Fox from the side has had a little bit of opportunity to just open fire on the St. Clair squad, but it's been all into Frez. And as you can see, Frez is actually rather healthy in this scenario. Pops the ulti, gets a bunch of armor, and he's extremely tanky bear. You cannot stop it. Lassie, open season here on this turret for the moment. Gonna get it extremely close, but they're just gonna keep this Baroned up minion ready with extended range. They get the turret, they get their job done, and they back out of dodge unless they want to get aggressive here. We do see the Destiny popped here from Yule once again. However, that is a very, very grouped up Milligan University squad. You're going to think twice about it, and then just go clean up that lane down bot. All right, now St. Clair looking to split things up a little bit. Actually, watch out. Red Fox gets jumped on, forced to flash aside. Blue buff going to be going back over to Yule. Like I was saying before, the cooldown reduction plus being able to just generate mana for days means you're going to be finding cards constantly flying through your team. Massive amounts of single target and AoE damage coming up here from Yule. 9-1 so far in this game, and then 5-1 and 12 for Trick. Individually great performances, but great performances across the entire board so far on this St. Clair team. Because even if they don't have the eliminations themselves, they oftentimes do have a ton of assists to kind of back that up, as we see with Miensfo. Frez getting involved as well. Through the jungle back towards the Baron pit, but Baron will not be ready anytime soon. No objectives on the board as of this moment. Dragon will be around the corner, which means Baron probably will be shortly as well. You see St. Clair having a bunch of vision in the river towards that Baron side, trying to make something happen towards the bottom, but not going to find it just yet. Logic is going to get completely exploded before this team fight even gets a chance to begin. Yule dodges a Glacial Fissure. Miensfo on top of the carries here for Milligan. But then here comes Frez. Big Bear right in the middle, point blank here with Pakent. Yule dueling somebody, I think that's going to be Red Fox up in the top lane. And Frez may be a beefy bear, but he's going to be able to do some decent damage as well. I need mental help trying to keep Red Fox alive, but in the meantime it leaves Senor completely to himself. Lassie still has that Guardian Angel available as well. Should be able to chase down. I need mental help if he really wants to. One more rent, and it's gone. Another huge team fight here for St. Clair with only Kid Red Fox barely alive to try and defend against this mid-push. And I don't think Red Fox is going to be able to do much about it. Lassie just pelting away at this turret. Frez getting involved as well, but Logic has returned. But they're just going to leave Frez there to make sure that he can get the final shot on that turret. And Red Fox looking to try and get a steal, and a huge snipe from Yule. Of course, those cards with so much burst damage can easily outburst a single auto attack from Red Fox. Red Fox thought he was being cute, but meanwhile he got completely played souls over to St. Clair. So much additional regeneration coming out now onto the St. Clair squad. The longer these team fights go, the better for them. As if these team fights were really lasting that long to begin with, however. They usually tend to be done pretty quickly with the way this team composition is built here for St. Clair. One inhibitor down, looking for the next. Going to be successful in doing so. Do they opt to push towards top lane now? Or are they looking for Baron? That is going to be right around the corner as well. And it looks like it is going to be towards that top turret first. They blow it up rather quickly. This gold lead is getting ridiculous now for St. Clair. They look to be running away with it. True Shot Barrage attempts from Senor to try and just clear some of these minions, but it's too little too late. The engage is happening. Here comes I Need Mental Help through right into the middle of the St. Clair team, but so is Frez right in the middle of everybody. Destiny popped from Yule. He should be able to cut off anybody who tries to escape. Going to be off to the side and gets a decent angle on a couple members for these cards. Every single inhibitor bound to fall, but Frez does go down in the meantime, but Lassie's still extremely healthy alongside Trick, Miensfo, and Yule. First inhibitor, or first core turret, Nexus turret rather, being pressured down. Miensfo nearly going down. Maybe a possible overextension here. Lassie knocked out of his Guardian Angel. Can they focus him nice and quick? They attempt to, but they do not time it right. Lilia going down. Logic has been popped. Lassie nearly going down, hanging on by a thread. Going to be successful in defending. Right on the fountain is not where you want to try and battle this. However, it is still going to go in St. Clair's favor, and they're going to move forward 3-1 in this tournament after taking down Milligan University. Now that's what we like to see. That was an absolute bloodbath from start to finish, it felt like, in that matchup. 32 kills for St. Clair by themselves in this game, and then 16 on the side of Milligan University. Fantastic match overall. There was definitely moments of brilliance there early on for the Milligan team, but it felt like a couple fights just did not go their way. They lost too many objectives, and St. Clair was able to just snowball it all the way to victory. making it not even close by the end. And of course, that to look at some of these stat lines here to finish off this game, Yule ended up with 11 eliminations, a single death, and 13 assists. A big standout game for himself. Lassie's up there as well with 8, 2, and 11. Frez brought that back, 5, 5, and 8. Of course, may not be the one getting the main eliminations himself, but he's always there eating up all the damage. Same thing with Miensfo. He only got 1 elimination himself, got himself 6 deaths, but 15 assists, being an absolute terror to the back line and helping secure himself some picks. And of course, Trick, same situation there, except he actually got quite a few eliminations. He got 7 eliminations, 2 deaths, and 17 assists. It was all over the map, pressuring Milligan everywhere. So with this, of course, if you're watching on Twitch, !bracket will bring up the current standings here in the Drury Esports Invitational. As we take a look, so this is going to put St. Clair probably tied for... It's going to be either tied for 3rd again or in 2nd place. It depends what happens with Northwood's last match. And let's take a look at who our next opponent shall be. That was round 4. We are now on round 5 out of 6 for St. Clair, because of course round 7 for us is a bye, so we don't have to worry about that one. Our next match is up against Western Kentucky University. Currently, this team's been struggling so far in this tournament, which then means that the 6th match tonight is going to be versus Northwood University. And if you've been watching the stream for a little while, you know Northwood's been giving us a hard time. So we'll have to see what happens there. But before we hop into that game, we're going to be taking a very quick break. It should be starting close to 4 o'clock, but my cat's trying to steal my pizza. I need to kind of get to that real quick. So be right back. See you in 5. Game 5 right around the corner.